SorceryCon has only just finished, and already we're seeing some of the most powerful and playable cards from Arthurian Legends coming to the spotlight. And with great power comes great demand. So we are going to go over all the cards that might have really high demand and that you might want to grab if they're on your wish list. Let's check out the cards.
The constructed tournament in SorceryCon just finished, and we took a closer look at the top 8 constructed decks. And even though the top 8 constructed decks span all the way from Witch to Sorcerer, one card made it into almost all of the decks. And we're gonna check that card out now.
So before we let you know what the card was that had almost a spot in every single deck in top 8, let us just play a little guessing game. Go down to our comment section and write which card you think it was. So let's get it out of the way. The most obvious card was of course Ring of Morrigan, as it was in most of the decks.
From the get-go, Ring of Morrigan was deemed to be a very powerful card, and of course people were right. This card really has it all. It has ping damage, it has a sort of life gain ability, and it is also featured in a new combo where you can get almost unlimited card draw. So this card is really powerful. And of course, powerful cards are run in powerful decks. Almost all of the decks, actually 7 out of 8 of the top 8 decks ran Ring of Morrigan.
If you're getting any value out of this video, please do smash the like button and consider becoming a subscriber. For a small channel like ours, it makes all the difference. Thank you.
Another very played card was the new avatar Archimago, and this was featured in 3 different decks, and they were actually kind of different. Some decks opted for a more control-like strategy with control early game and big bombs like Craterize at the end game, while others opted for much more aggressive builds with a lot of cheap burn spells. What is certain is though that Archimago's ability to cast spells from the graveyard is really powerful. And this is also reflected in the foil price of Archimago, where Archimago is actually one of the most expensive elite foils in the game.
Speaking of expensive cards, have you seen the price increase on Morgana Le Fay? Just this past month, she has increased by 250% on TCG Player. Morgana was in 2 of the 8 constructed decks at SorceryCon, and there is a good reason for that, even though she can be kinda hard to cast outside of Mono Fire. She has the ability to draw cards, and due to her stealth ability, she can also really sneak around the board. You have the possibility to set her up for that final killing blow, because she can summon minions to her side and deal that final amount of damage to your opponent when they are on death's door. So in our opinion, she is a very playable but also a very powerful card and a great addition to Arthurian Legends. And a lot of you must think the same, because her price is just going through the roof.
And while we are at speaking of those juicy singles, don't forget our sponsor Code for Heroes, where you can get all the singles you need. And remember, if you are a Patreon member or a YouTube channel member on our channel, you're also going to get a 5% discount link. So happy shopping.
Another expensive card that was in the top 8 decks, but only one of them, was the 4 Waters of Paradise. This of course does resemble the mixes that we saw in Alpha and Beta, but it might just be a tad better, especially in constructed. We're not entirely sure how much play is going to see, but I think it's worth keeping an eye on this card, and you can do so on the Sorcery Price Tracker. The link is down below. The Sorcery Price Tracker is actually developed by Shippy, and he was also one of the contestants who made it to the top 8 at SorceryCon, the constructed tournament, so big congrats to him.
In the Earth decks, we also saw the use of some of those really powerful Arthurian Legends Earth cards, and I'm talking about Tithe and Lady Isolde. Tithe is a really great magic because it draws you sides, and we saw this utilized in a Geomancer deck. So having side draw in a Geomancer deck is really great, because that means that you can just focus on drawing those powerful spells. Lady Isolde made it into some of those creature heavy decks, and that's very understandable, because having the ability to get minions back on your hand when they die if your opponents do not deal with Lady Isolde is really powerful, and that's also going to force them to maybe do some bad plays. So Lady Isolde also saw some play.
In Air, we saw Feast of Crows being played in 2 of the decks, so this is basically just a Grim Reaper on steroids, because you don't have to kill anything and you can just get any card out of your opponent's spellbook, hand and cemetery by naming it with Feast of Crows. So this card can really shut down some of the best plays that your opponents might have, which will really cripple them. And if you are running Archimago as your avatar, you will be able to cast it again from your cemetery. And with any luck and a tower, you can even play this on turn 2.
There is no sorcery without the grid and without sites. So of course sites were also a big factor in the top 8 decks. And 2 different sites made it into 3 of the top 8 decks. First of these sites were Valley of the Light. Valley of Delight is a great threshold fixer. So if you're running multiple colors in a deck and you have double thresholds in multiple elements, you will want to play Valley of Delight. And since it's only an elite card, you can have up to 2 Valley of Delights in your deck, which increases the possibility of you actually playing it in a constructed tournament.
This site also saw a lot of play. It is the Wizard's Den. As we all know, card draw is king in TCGs, and that is also true for sorcery. This card is really great, and it will let you draw that extra spell when you play it. And the only downside is that you have to defend it. Otherwise, if it gets attacked and it isn't defended, you have to discard a card. But in reality, if you play this card on your back row, you probably won't get hit until the late game, and you might not even have a card to discard. I've been in this situation before, and I do think we will see a lot of decks in the future running Wizard's Den.
We also have a few honorable mentions in the site department. First of these is the Babbling Brook. This is a great controlling site, and it can actually just set your opponent back a whole turn when it enters, because its Genesis ability says that it disables all nearby minions. So if you play this at the right time, you will get time to either set up your defenses or turn the attack on your opponent.
Our next honorable mention goes to Funeral Pyre, especially with all of these Archimagos playing out there. Having the opportunity to take out 3 cards from your opponent's cemetery, and do note that you get to choose which, is really important and valuable. This site also works wonders against, for instance, the Death Speaker, where you have the opportunity to throw out a lot of cards that they might want, especially for instance the Grand Wizards or other annoying cards that come into effect with a Genesis ability.
With Arthurian Legends comes great power, and with great power comes also great combos. So you have some of those really juicy combos from Arthurian Legends. Let us know down in the comment section, and we'll try to piece together a combo video for Arthurian Legends.
And if you want to check out some of the combos you can do with the cards from Alpha and Beta, you can check out this video right up here. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope that you will catch our next video. And do remember to subscribe down below.
And thank you to our YouTube channel members and our Patreon members streaming down below. You are the knights in shining armor supporting the Cardboard Guide. Keep questing for us.